Hey there, this is Drew Badger, the world's #1 English fluency guide and the co-founder of EnglishAnyone.com, and it is a pleasure to welcome you to another The Business of Teaching. So we're talking about how to teach, how to make some money online by actually educating people so everybody wins. It's really a great situation. And in this video series so far, we have covered quite a few things actually, and maybe I've lost a few people, or hopefully I've found quite a few more though. But people that are interested in not only improving their business English skills, and again, like the secret I mentioned before about business English, it's not really a secret, but there really isn't any difference between the way I'm speaking when I'm doing business and when I'm doing just average, everyday conversation. And the only thing is that in business, you're focusing much more on trying to convince other people to do what you want them to do. And so that's exactly the skill that you need to have if you want to be able to sell lessons or to be able to actually make money from what you do. So in this lesson, I thought I would cover maybe a few things because we have received some questions. I've gotten some questions, not only comments in YouTube lessons or YouTube videos, but when people can, you'll have a little link at the top of the screen here. You can click on that as well to ask some more questions if you like. But basically, we'll just cover a few things in that, and then we'll get into some new things going forward in the later video lessons. So this one, I don't have specific names in front of me. I'm actually not at home recording this, but I had some time to record it, so I figured I would record this lesson for you while I'm sitting here right now. And one of the lessons was, how do we go from free to paid? How do we go from free to paid? Now, this is a lot of people make ideas and, they try to make videos or make blog posts or whatever, and they're able to maybe get some people that are following them, some people that are interested in what they say, but they're not actually able to make any money from that. And this is the thing that a lot of people struggle with. And again, that it goes back to, are you producing content that is something people really want to pay for? And that's why, again, what I'm teaching, in this series of videos, that you should always be getting paid first before you produce something. So that's why I don't recommend you make, a whole bunch of YouTube videos or make a whole bunch of blog posts or something like that before you actually have any, people that you're trying to sell to. So if you want to make money, unless you just actually don't care about making money, then you probably shouldn't be watching this video series anyway. But if you just want to have people enjoy your content, then just make whatever content you like and just listen to them about, maybe you should change this or you should change that kind of thing. But it just depends on the kind of information people are searching for and how painful their problem is. Now, as a general example about business, that kind of thing, it's important to understand that kind of like a pyramid here, only a small fraction of your market, whatever that market is, it could be the English learning market like mine is, or it could be, repairing old cars, or it could be having an aquarium in your house so you're keeping fish or turtles or, whatever the thing is. Only a small portion of the market is actually interested in buying anything at this moment. So if I have 100 people sitting in front of me and I say, hey, raise your hand if you want to buy a couch right now. Maybe 3 people, maybe 4 or 5 at the most would raise their hand and say they're interested at this moment to buy a couch. And now below that, the kind of pyramid goes down. So we've got the very small fraction of people at the top that are interested in buying something at this moment. Then we've got other people that are maybe thinking about it for the near future, and then it kind of goes down from there. So you've got the top third of the pyramid is people that are kind of interested, and then you've got the middle third of the pyramid, which is like, they're not really thinking about it, they don't care. And then you've got the bottom of the pyramid, which is people that don't care at all. They don't like couches, they don't ever want to buy a couch, and you're probably not going to convince them to get one. So when you're thinking about doing business, you have to remember that the people you're selling to, it's actually not going to be a huge percentage of the market anyway. And for, it could be a wide number of reasons. Like in the case of what I do, a lot of people that would like to purchase lessons are unable to do so because they can't have credit cards, or they can't, their country doesn't allow them to do international transfers, or, whatever the case may be. So there will always be some kind of problems there. But if you just live in a market like America and your customers are also in America, that's probably less of a problem. But so for me, we have a lot of international students that learn with us, and so a lot of them will be unable to pay for lessons. So they just enjoy the YouTube videos we have, and we earn a small bit of revenue from from YouTube videos, from YouTube advertising. Really not that much. I wouldn't build an education business around YouTube advertising unless you can really produce a lot of content and make it, really entertaining. This is probably not the most entertaining video on YouTube. It's not like, like crazy videos and crazy sound effects. I'm, kind of just trying to give you information, and hopefully it's interesting for you anyway. But even looking at the amount of views, like millions of views that my channel has, and the number of subscribers, it just really doesn't make that much money. It wouldn't be enough money that I could live off that by itself. So again, the point of using YouTube for what I do is that like the real money I make comes from the things I sell. So we want to move people from the free to the paid. Now, I want to give you just an example about this. Like, imagine you are a learner and you're just like a free learner with me. So I'm going to try to sell you right now on why you should, upgrade to premium, why you should bother, actually joining one of the premium lessons that we offer, something like that. So you can get an example of that. So maybe you're an actual English learner and you're interested in doing this, but really the point is just to demonstrate what the problem is, what the solution you have is, and why you're the person to provide that. And this is what we talked about in episode 3, I believe, of this series. So if you go back and watch that, I'm talking about this triangle of these 3 things, which is the most simple part of selling something. So how to sell, where you have the problem that the person has. It always begins with the problem. It doesn't begin with what you're thinking about or what you think the market should have when you have this great idea about something. Oh, I think like the market would love chairs with like 6 legs on them. Maybe that's a great idea, but if people don't actually want to spend money on that thing, then you're wasting your time. So again, these 3 things, this triangle of what's the problem, what's the solution, and then why you are the person to provide that thing. And as long as like all of these things are connecting, you usually have a pretty good thing on your hands. You've got a pretty good idea or a pretty good product or service, whatever that thing is. So right now I'm going to sell you on why you should upgrade to premium. So if you're a follower of English Anyone on the YouTube channel, you can see that we actually experiment with a lot of different videos. We have quite a few things about phrasal verbs, or we've got idioms, or maybe some other particular expressions that we use. We've also got examples of master English conversation lessons, so people can see what those are like. Not only the conversations where I'm, sitting and speaking with someone or doing something, but you can also see that I've got lessons where I'm explaining things kind of like this. So we're going over vocabulary, that sort of thing. So what we actually do on YouTube, all of the lessons, even though there are a lot of them, they're really just different pieces of the fluency puzzle. And we're not doing that because we want to keep information from people. It's just because we use YouTube as a way to experiment with different lessons. So we often try things on YouTube, and if they work, then we move them up to premium. And so they become things that like our members really enjoy. So like one of those new things that we created was a brand new video player. And we worked with a really great guy named Victor that was able to help program that with me. So we had the idea, and I thought it was fantastic. And so instead of making it for something that like anybody could use, I thought our premium members would really enjoy that. Now, what this video player allows you to do is while you're watching the video up here, the transcript is rolling below it. So all of our premium videos have transcripts as well. That's another fantastic reason to upgrade to premium. But you've got the transcript that's scrolling below the video. So you've got a text box. You can click anywhere in that on any line of text, and it will jump to that video, which is a really cool thing. So if you want to search the video for a particular line of text, you can actually jump to that line or that spot in the video really easily. You can also tell the video to play a particular line of text many, many times. So if you're watching this, if we pretend the video player is running, you can tell me to repeat a particular line again, and you can tell me how much space you want between each repetition. So that way I can help you, when we're doing the lesson, you can actually customize the way you learn. So a Master English Conversation member right now, they would be able to watch this video, or maybe not this video, this is only available for YouTube, but the actual lessons, they would have the video, but they would have the video player that allowed them to click again on any section of the text and jump to that video, and they would also be able to have it repeat automatically. So it might go something like this. Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. And of course, I don't really speak like that in the video, but the point is you can tell the video player that you want it to pause the video. So again, this is one of those ideas where we take something, we have a really great idea, and then we make it for premium viewers because this is something that can really benefit people. It's something that really solves a problem. So when you're watching a video, instead of having to click, like if you find it really annoying where you have to click on something, like maybe to move the mouse or move the cursor, like the slider on a video player, you're clicking on something, oh, you want to hear that sentence again, you have to find it, that kind of thing. All these things are quite annoying for the people that, maybe they don't want to take the time to do that. And ultimately, when you're talking about moving someone from free to paid, I'm just going to kind of jump out of the sales pitch right now. When you're talking about moving someone from free to paid, really it's the people that want to spend money versus the people that want to spend time doing something. And really, you can't really turn a person that wants to spend time into someone that wants to spend money. It's just better to look for people that are actually interested in solving their problem. So the major reason, again, the video player example is just one reason why people would upgrade, because again, we've just got, for the YouTube channel or even on our own blog, that kind of thing, we talk about individual pieces of fluency, but the only way you can get the whole picture is if you're going premium. And so if you're looking for a program that will give you everything you need in order to get fluent, including the video player, including access to, us being able to answer questions from you, and we're actually really quick when we reply to things. I'm constantly surprised by how, people are like, wow, you really, responded to me really quickly when I asked a question. So often, if people are commenting on YouTube videos, like they may not hear from me or may not hear from us or whatever on Facebook or something just because we get so many comments. But when people mail us, we respond really quickly. And this is one of the benefits of being a premium member. So we produce the premium program, and this is what you should be thinking about as a person that's creating lessons, as a way to benefit the people that want to save time by spending money. So some people are, either they don't have money or for whatever reason they just don't want to spend money. It's just how they think. People think in different ways. And for me, I'd much rather spend money and save time, because you can always get money back. Money is the easy thing. Money is everywhere. Regardless if you believe that or not, the better you do at selling, the more you understand and the more you realize that money really is everywhere, and money is just flowing from one place to another. That's all it's doing. And all you can do is, if you can learn how to attract money, really all you're having to do is just solve problems, and that's it. And that's what we've been talking about in this video series. So again, I'll just give a final last pitch so you can see the example of this. All of these ideas are about time-saving things that I can really do to, produce a great result for people, because most information is available in different places on the internet. So you can have one student that only wants to use their time, and they're going and watching different videos and learning from this person and learning something different from something else and something different from one other place, but they're having to waste a lot of time doing that. So the people that I help are the people that, actually want to spend money on something because they're saving a lot of time. So we have kind of two options for people. We have a wide collection of videos for free on YouTube, and you can learn actually a lot. A lot of people do, improve their fluency just by watching our free programming on YouTube. But for people that want to improve really quickly, like, they're wanting to improve for their job or something like that, they actually have a good reason to do that, then the pain is much stronger for those people. So they're willing to spend money to save time. And those are the people that you should be working to sell to as well, because there's always going to be a big population of people. I'd say maybe usually 80%, 70 to 80% of the people in your market are not going to be paying for your product, but you can still earn money again off of something like YouTube revenue, or ads on your website, however you want to do that. There are different ways, but it's basically the same thing. Either you're selling to people directly or you're able to earn advertising revenue from those people. So when you're thinking about that, the idea of moving someone from free to paid, it's really about convincing them that, if you want to save time, if you actually want to have everything you need, I've created everything in one simple course. And that way people will be able to say, oh, so this will give me everything I need to get fluent. I can just get that thing instead of wasting a lot of time trying to search for things and trying to create my own program. So learning a language in particular is something that's very difficult to do by yourself. So if I'm trying to learn Japanese and I want to learn Japanese from this YouTube video and that person and this blog and this other thing over here, it's quite confusing for me. So I'd rather just pay money to have one course, as long as it's a good one, that can give me everything I need. So I'm a person that I would like to, pay for things in order to save money, but I know everybody is not that way. But it's a good thing that we actually do have quite a few fans that really do enjoy paying money such they can save time and they can learn a lot more quickly. So if you are actually a learner and you'd like to have the benefit of all the things that we do on YouTube, and then we actually do everything better, make it simple and make it just a nice, clear package for everybody to enjoy, then join Master English Conversation. And that's all you have to do to get paid. So really, you're taking someone from free to paid. You have to have a real strong problem that person has, but you also have to be offering them, significant time savings. Now, this whole idea about moving someone from free to paid is a little bit more difficult when you're dealing directly with individual consumers rather than businesses. So if I'm selling from, business to business, the only thing I have to say is, hey, you guys are spending $5 a month on this thing. You can only spend $1 and get the same thing with me. So businesses are just thinking about like how much the money difference is. But with, dealing directly with consumers, especially when something has to do with education, you'll find that it takes longer because you have to develop trust with people. And so people are getting that trust from watching videos, and they're getting to know your personality, that kind of thing, in the same way that people are getting to know mine. So some people, they'll be maybe followers of the YouTube channel for maybe a year or two. So we've been on YouTube a few years now before they finally buy anything. And it could be for a lot of reasons, but the biggest reason is because maybe they just didn't know me well enough. They didn't trust me, that kind of thing. And not in a bad way. It's just, when you're getting to know someone, learning from something, that's a very intimate situation. That's a very personal thing for many people. I know for me too, like there might be, two teachers, and this one maybe has like slightly better information, but this one is like a nicer guy and I like enjoy the way he teaches, that kind of thing. So I'm going to go with this person instead. So the decision is a little bit more difficult for people that are trying to get them to go from free to paid, but that's how you do it. So again, you're really wanting to talk to the market, and beyond just getting this kind of general information from me, you really want to talk with the people that you want to help. And, don't think of them as like actually like a market, even though that's how we describe them. It's actually a group of people with a common problem. And the more you can understand that problem, the more you will also see that there's a group in that group that wants to pay to save time, and a group that wants to, maybe spend time to save money, that kind of thing. So you'll have to find not only the market that you have, but also finding the people that want to save time, and like advertising is a great way to do that. That's a whole, separate video. We can talk about that later if you're interested in it. But just at the beginning, this whole course is designed to help you just get the fundamentals of how this kind of business works, where you're just starting to develop a relationship with people such that they're happy to pay you money to teach them something. And a lot of that is about, making sure that they trust you and they understand you, and it just takes time. It's one of those things that, again, it's not a business relationship. I mean, even in business, you still have trust is a bigger factor, but something like education, again, is a very personal thing. So if you want to move people from free to paid, you have to explain to them why it's a good idea, why it solves the problem, and then also that added benefit of time. Because time, that's a really important thing for a lot of people. So maybe a lot of people are interested in saving money, but the people that have money are interested in saving time. So I'm going back over these things, but one way or the other, when I usually try to sell people, like especially like if I'm actually trying to sell my lessons, I explain to people, look, you can have, like money. I mean, whether you believe it or not, really, like money is everywhere. And it's just a question of, do you want to spend a whole bunch of time, trying to learn English the slow way? Do you want to learn like with this person and that person and trying to make your own thing? And maybe you make mistakes, but you don't even know if you're making mistakes or not because there's no one to help you do that. So you can do that way. Or you can do the one that like gives you everything. You have a personal fluency guide to help you along the way, a great video player, all these things that, give a lot of great reasons why you should move from free to paid. And if you can start doing that, you'll save a lot of time and you can start reaching success and fluency much more quickly. So again, that same kind of thing in a general way. I'm repeating myself here because this is important to remember, but it's the same in any market, especially like when you're talking about B to C, which is business to consumer, which is what I do. So it's not B to B where you're talking about, again, when I gave the example earlier about business to business. So we're really just trying to give like cost savings to a business and say, hey, I can save you money by doing this. And then businesses are like, yeah, sure, I'll buy that. So talking about moving free to paid, and what I mentioned before about having this triangle of the top of the market here, or this percentage of the market, it's a very small one that's actually interested in buying something right now. This is exactly why we develop a list of people that we're able to sell to and to teach and to help, that kind of thing, because you'll have people on your list in the same way that I have people on the YouTube channel that are not buying anything from us yet, but they may buy from us in the future. And the only way we can ensure that that happens is to have a continual conversation with people. So we mail back and forth with people, and that's why we develop a list of people like we talked about in the previous videos in this series. I'm trying to think of some other questions people had. Another thing that comes up a lot for entrepreneurs, like I noticed, like a friend of mine showed me this video. It was a video course about how to, become like a, what do you call it? Like you want to be a freelancer, so you want to you're like a freelance professional, and instead of working for a company doing web design, you want to do web design for clients or something like that. So how to get clients, how to look professional, how to have a business, that kind of thing. Now this is still kind of an old school way of doing this, but I was looking at the sales page and looking at the information that this person had when they were offering the course, and a lot of the modules. So module, if you're not familiar, it just means like a section of a course or a part or a piece, a module. So a couple of modules were on like how to get your business cards, how to make a website, how to do all these other things. And what I'll tell you in this program is like to forget all that stuff. You don't need a website. You don't need business cards. You don't need all of those things that you think you need. You don't even need a business name in order to make your first dollar. And what I'm trying to do is to stop people from spending a whole bunch of time and money doing things before they're actually making any money out of it. Because we want you to know very quickly whether or not you can make money out of something. And if you can, then you can get the business cards and the website and all those other things. But at the end of the day, all you need to do is to have a problem that you can solve. And related to this is when you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, all you have to do is be the problem solver. You don't have to be, the one that actually designs, or like physically builds the solution. You just have to be the person that thinks of the idea. So a perfect example of this is how to help children learn how to read. And I don't know how to develop an app. I don't know the first thing about coding, that sort of thing, like how to build, something like that. I can, code a website pretty well. I know some HTML and some CSS, but that's really about it. But as far as making an app goes, I'm the entrepreneur. I'm the person that's thinking of how do we solve this problem of helping people teach themselves how to read? How do we make that process really easy for people? And instead of me thinking that, and this is kind of the typical way, like maybe you're thinking about this too, like, okay, I'm starting the business, so I have to do everything. Forget about the business cards and the business name. You're like, well, I have to teach because that's all I can do. And that's the wrong way to think about this whole process. So I don't know how to build an app, but I know how to think about a process and to be able to teach a developer how the app should work. And that's exactly what we're doing. So in the case of an entrepreneur, like maybe I don't know how to build a physical machine, but I know how to, I want a potential machine to achieve a certain result, or this is like a particular workflow of how something should happen. So in my case, like instead of having a teacher teach someone how to read, where we give people very few examples like cat, rat, and bat, what I want to do is give people the opportunity to teach themselves how to read. And they can do that by messing with the different combinations of words. So they can make cat or bat or fat just by manipulating the letters, and then they can see how that works. Now, I don't know how to build that personally, but because I understand what I want it to do, I can communicate that idea to someone else who's a developer who can actually make that product for me. So when you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, all you're really doing is solving problems and getting paid for it. And you can find other people who actually can do the work for you and that usually are like better than you at doing the work. So as an example, like from my own business, when I first started, kind of in addition to doing it the wrong way of like going out onto YouTube first and making a bunch of videos and, trying lots of different things instead of going directly to the market and asking like, hey, what problems do you guys have? And then starting like that, like I've been teaching you in this series, what I did was, I was starting to do everything. So I was even writing my own transcripts. I was editing my own videos, all these other things. But as I've been able to grow, I'm able to slowly give more of these pieces of the product away so that I can focus on solving the actual problem because that's what I'm best at. So as an entrepreneur, don't worry about the business card. Don't worry about the website. Don't worry about, all these other things you think you have to do, like incorporating an actual business or whatever. I mean, most places will just let you have like a doing business as name, something like that. If you're not an actual company, it doesn't matter. You're kind of a de facto company. That just means like an actual company, even if you don't say you are. If you're doing business, you're just like a business, so that's really all you have to do. You have to start making money from what you do. And I don't want you to spend any money on things until you're actually making money off of what your product is, at least like, to the best of your ability. Maybe you have to spend a little bit of money or a little bit of time, but I really want you to be having people that are prepared to pay you for something before you make it. And that way, that's really going to basically guarantee your success instead of doing the opposite, which is building this thing and thinking about all that and then trying to sell it to people after the fact. So remember, all these ideas is actually like quite an interesting collection of things, just a few questions being answered. So don't worry about the business cards, and remember that the job of an entrepreneur is just to solve problems, but that you also have a market here, and not everybody is going to be interested in what you're buying, right now. So you can find some people that are interested in that now, and then you can develop a list such that like more people move into that, and they can kind of move up from free to paid as they learn more about the value of what you do. If you have any more questions, you can click on the link in this video. You'll see the little, it should be in the upper right of your screen. Yes, it should be in the upper right. You'll see it's a little circle with an eye on it if you move your mouse, or maybe you'll see that when you're on mobile. This is a new card function that YouTube is using. But if you click on that, you can go to our page where we're talking about, the business course, and you can feel free to ask any questions you have. We do get a lot of questions, so I can't answer everything, but hopefully I've answered quite a few things in this episode. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. Go back and think about, trying to get to the heart of the problem without worrying about how exactly it will be solved, and that's what's going to get you paid. And the more you can find a problem that people really, really have, the more painful it is, the more money you can make, and the more people you can help doing what you do. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.